What's up, NFL fans? We're here. Finally, it's Friday. You're gonna do the grades for the NFC East, who I think won the NFC East Draft. So I'm gonna base my grades on if they built for the future or if they built to win now. So depending if how the teams drafted, if they're built to win now and they drafted bad, I deducted like points, so to speak, off of them. And if they are built to win in the future and they built for the future, they gain a little bit more extra points. So that's how I'm kind of grading these draft picks. And I'm gonna go from worst to best, and I'm gonna explain why I graded them the way I graded them. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. There's gonna be a lot of detail to it. I did a lot of research by myself to see what was going on. Um, So be sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel a lot. I would really appreciate it, and as well as like and share this video and comment down below what you guys' thoughts are. I would like to hear from you guys as well. But let's get to it. It's gonna be kind of long video, so I do have myself a glass of water. Stay hydrated. So this is gonna be a fun video. First things first. The worst grade that I have is the Dallas Cowboys. I had them at a B minus. I love the first pick, Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. You needed somebody to replace Tyron Smith. But then your second, you ended up drafting Marshawn Nealand from West Virginia. You really don't need a defensive end. But I understand why you did it, but it doesn't help you really necessarily win now. You could have drafted a defensive end next year. You probably could have drafted a better linebacker, a better receiver. Instead of Jalen Tolbert as your slot, you could have drafted somebody else, as there was plenty of receivers in the draft. So that's why I think the Cowboys kind of messed up there. I understand DeMarcus Lawrence has one more year on his contract, but like I said, you could always draft a defensive end next year. So I didn't like that pickup. I think he's gonna be a good player in the future, but you're kind of built to win now. Alongside, I think this is Dak Prescott's last year, and I just didn't like that pickup at all. Another pickup I didn't like, he has potential to be good, is Cooper Beebe. He's probably gonna be a backup to Brock Hoffman. He might compete for the starting center job there, but again, you could have went a running back. And this is third round. You could have went running back. You have Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle, and Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn, he's like 5'5". I mean, he might play special teams, but I don't like Deuce Vaughn at all. Ezekiel Elliott might be just a goal line back now. Rico should be the starting running back. So maybe you could have been running back third round to replace Zeke next year. Jake Ferguson is a solid tight end. You could have went maybe a nose tackle, because I believe you lost a nose tackle. But I don't like. I mean, I understand you need depth at offensive line, but I think this team needs other things. Maybe another backup middle linebacker to back up Eric Hendricks. Yeah, Marquise Bell as a linebacker, backup middle linebacker. But that's what I would have did. And then the fourth round pick, your fourth pick, third round, Lyofu from Notre Dame. I think this is a good pickup. You need somebody to stop the run. You don't really have linebackers, so I believe this is a solid pickup for them. And then Ryan Flournoy, just a good probably special team guy, somebody you could build up. Brandon Cooks is getting old, so hopefully he learns from CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. Sorry about that. My computer freezes, so it makes my camera freeze. So sometimes I'm gonna be talking and it's gonna be frozen. So sorry about that. But you guys still can hear me. I left off with Ryan Flournoy, special team guy, I believe, can learn from Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb. Nathan Thomas, run blocker as well for goal line situations. Justin Rogers has potential to maybe be good run stuffer in the middle. So who knows where he's going to be. but he's probably going to be buried in the depth chart for now, as he's I believe, their 7th-round draft pick. But that's how I graded the Dallas Cowboys. Now let's to go into detail of. I only did like the first round picks, the first and second round picks, the details of why they drafted them. But coming to find out, the Eagles have one of the best. Not the Eagles. The Dallas Cowboys have one of the best offensive coordinators in Mike Solori, O-line coach. He's been pretty much offensive line coach his whole entire career. He was with the Chiefs for a very long time. Pretty much, let's just say, for example, from the year 2000 to the year like 2010 or maybe even longer. And, back then the Chiefs had a phenomenal offensive lineman. He coached Brian Waters, really good guard. Will Shields as well. And, Trent Green and Larry Johnson and Priest Holmes and Tony Gonzalez. That was a really good offense back in the day. Oh, sorry about that. My dog wants out. That was a really good offensive line back in the day, back in the early 2000s. So he knows how to coach offensive line and make them really good, play really, really well together. He also had Casey Wingman, an undrafted center from the year 2001 to the year 2012, had 10,000 consecutive snaps, which is phenomenal for an undrafted player. He made him that good. Now I have no doubt in my mind that what's his name? That Tyler Guyan is going to be a phenomenal offensive lineman under Mike Solori. I'm mispronouncing his name, but he's an offensive line coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, after that, I think he went. I forgot what team he went after the Kansas City Chiefs, but he also went with the San Francisco 49ers. Coached up Joe Staley, Mike Lupati. He drafted him, became in there in 2011-ish, 2010-ish. That's when he got drafted, but he immediately made him a Pro Bowl offensive lineman, as long as Joe Staley as well. Joe Staley was not a Pro Bowl type of left tackle. As soon as Mike got there, he made him a Pro Bowl left tackle as well. And since he got there about 2010 to about 2014, that's when the Colin Kaepernick and Frank Gore, they were just going off. Then that offensive line was really tough and gritty, and they just played really well together. That's what Mike Solori did with the offensive line. And so I think this offensive line group is going to really do good together, but Tyler Guyan's going to have a really, really good offensive line coach, which is really, really good for him. And yeah, that's about it for Dallas Cowboys. It took me a while to search up the players that Mike Solori, who he coached up and what teams he did and how good they did. He also went with the Seattle Seahawks for a little bit, but the majority of the time was the Chiefs and the 49ers. So I really didn't do no research on the Seahawks, so sorry about that. Maybe he did have a couple good linemen there, but I just mainly focused on the Niners and the Chiefs as they have a really good offensive line core. So with that being said, I have the Dallas Cowboys at a B- because I thought they could have drafted more for now, because they are kind of built to win now as they do make the playoffs. Next, let's see. Next up on the board, I have the New York Giants. They only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 picks. I think they could have done more. This team needs a lot. And because they need a lot, I'm sorry about that. I'm kind of going through different tabs on my computer, different notes. But they kind of got deducted a little bit from that, even though I like the players that they drafted. But I feel like when you need more, you kind of got to trade your picks to get more. But with that being said, let's get right to it. This is pretty interesting as well. Really interesting, actually. I really went into depth with these coaches, but let's get right to it. Malik Neighbors, Giants first pick. Tyler Nubin second pick. Third pick, Andre Phillips, cornerback from Kentucky. Fourth round, Theo Johnson, tight end. Fifth round, Tyrone Tracy Jr., who I really like. Sixth round, Darius Mawasu, linebacker from UCLA. I can't read at all. But let's get to it. Obviously, this team built for the future, which I like a lot. I just don't like some of these players, I guess you can say. You could have drafted another receiver at round 3 because you have nobody other um, um, than Malik Neighbors. Darius Slayton is nah. Wandale Robinson is another guy. Isaiah McKenzie, just a special team player. Allen Robinson. I mean, like this has no receiving core help. You could have drafted a third receiver in the 3rd round, and maybe he blossomed into something good. Other than your corner, you probably could have got a corner next year. Probably a better elite corner as well. I mean, you still could, but now you're kind of forced to draft a quarterback next year. So that's why I kind of deducted them. That's why I didn't give him an A. I gave him a B. Now what's interesting now is now the Giants, what they did this offseason, they ended up training for Brian Burns. They have Dexter Lawrence, and they have Kayvon Thibodeau. So their defensive line is really good. So their second pick, they ended up getting a ball hawk safety, Tyler Nubin, who is also good supporting the run. So I think right there that helps them. That helps the secondary a lot. Theo Johnson, he might get playing time because unfortunately Darren Waller always gets hurt about like the second week. It's very sad because he has an excellent story, and I'm proud of him for beating what he did, or beating. If you guys don't know his story, I recommend you look it up. Excellent story, and he came through a lot. So I'm proud of that. I just hate that he always gets hurt. So Theo Johnson is going to get some playing time, I believe, this year, which is a good pickup. Now this running back, Tyrone Tracy Jr., he can play receiver. He, as I mentioned when I was doing their draft. You know what I'm trying to say. When I was talking about their draft, Tyrone Tracy Jr. played receiver, and he's a shifty running back. So I like that a lot about him. He can play 3rd down for sure easily. In my opinion, he's already the 3rd down back for this team. And when you draft a quarterback next year, I believe he's really going to help him out for checkdowns. And then no linebacker is going to be able to cover this guy. Like, absolutely no linebacker can cover this guy because he played wide receiver. And for him being a running back, his route running is going to be phenomenal. He can catch with his hands as well. So I like that a lot. The last pick, I don't know much about him. I'm not going to lie to you. But what's interesting now, let's get to the details for Malik Neighbors, is his offensive coordinator, Mike Kafka. He's been with the Giants for 2 years now. Prior to that, he was with Andy Reid for 4 years. So my computer froze again. I apologize for this. I really do apologize. I need a new computer or just get a new mic. Or not new mic, what am I trying to say? A new PC. Like I was saying, the Giants offensive coordinator for Malik Neighbors is Mike Kafka. He's been with the Giants for 2 years. Prior to that, he was learning under Andy Reid for about 4 years, from about 2017 to 2021. So learning under Andy Reid, I'm assuming he knows how to design plays and get his receivers open and give his playmakers the ball. So that I do like. The issue is you really don't have a quarterback right now. Now that wide receiver coach, this is really, really key to developing the receiver that Malik Neighbors could be. which I'm kind of questioning. Is Mike Grow? Grow? He's the wide receiver coach for the New York Giants. He turned Alshon Jeffrey into a Pro Bowl type receiver. 1,400 yards, about 7 touchdowns, 89 receptions in 2003. But before that, he was at Alabama in 2012. Mike was. And then you can also argue. Where's I going with this? Okay, and then Mike, after spending some time with the Bears, he went with the Rams for 1 year with when Kenny Britt went there. I think Kenny Britt was. I think they went there about the same time, and that offense was just atrocious. So he ended up going with the Philadelphia Eagles, and who joined him? No other than Alshon Jeffrey in 2017. He joined them. In 2016, he Nelson Aguilar. This is pretty big key. In 2016, Nelson Aguilar had about 350-ish yards. 350 yards. But with Mike in 2017, he had about 750 yards. So he improved him a lot. I mean, that has to do a lot with the head coach as well. But let's give Mike some credit as well to improving Nelson Aguilar to a better receiver. And then after the Eagles, in 2020, he joined the Colts. That's when they drafted Michael Pittman Jr., who's a solid receiver now. And you got to give credit to Mike Grow for that as well. 2020, he had about, I think, like 400 yards total, Michael Pittman did. And in 2021, he had 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. Compared to his 2020 yards, he had 503 yards and 1 touchdown. So Mike Gore is going to have a big impact on how Malik Neighbors transforms for Daniel Jones this year, and obviously for his rookie quarterback next year. I keep saying next year because next year I think is when they're going to draft a quarterback, which they need because I don't like Daniel Jones at all. But overall, I like what the Giants did. The first 2 picks, I really love it. Helps them win now and in the future. The cornerback, Andrew Phillips, good tackling corner. Theo Johnson, he's going to play immediately. And Theo, he can catch and block. He just needs a little bit help on his route running. Tyrone Tracy, immediately impact because you don't have no running backs on this team. Devin Singletary, Eric Cray, and Tyrone Tracy Jr., who I think is going to play third downs immediately. He just needs to gain a little bit more weight, and he can possibly be the starting running back. He's 24 years old, but he has a lot of juice in his legs because he played wide receiver. So that, to me, is awesome. Now, let's get to the top 2 teams. I need a glass of water, though. Talking a lot is brutal. That was good. All right, these 2 teams are graded the same, but I'm favoring more over the other. So I'll put it like this. I like it like this. All right, next, the Washington Commanders. I have them at an A-. A lot of it has to do because of they drafted for the future and now. Obviously, they drafted Jaden Daniels. The second pick, I also like Jarson Newton, defensive tackle from Illinois. He can rush the passer. Now, I think that I deducted a little bit of points because they already have 2 awesome defensive tackles in Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. So I deducted them a little bit of points. But this is Payne's last year. In my opinion, you trade Payne this year and get something for him. And like that, Jarson Newton plays for you immediately. That's what I would do. You drafted Mike, who's a physical cornerback from Michigan. You lost your best cornerback, so I'd like that pick as well. You drafted Ben Sinnott. He has a good feel for the game, and he's going to learn a lot from Zach Ertz, So I really like that pickup as well. Um, Brandon Coleman, offensive guard. Um, what was my notes for him? Um, I don't think I have anything for him. I don't have anything from Brandon Coleman. But then they drafted Luke McCaffrey, which I like a lot. Ed McCaffrey is his dad. Christian McCaffrey is his brother. He has a few other brothers. But if you don't know anything about this McCaffrey family, they always work. So as long as he's willing to work and put in the time and learn behind Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin, and even he can learn from Crowder and Olamide Zaccheaus. He can learn from those guys as well. They're veterans. They could really help him out on how to be a pro. So I really like Luke McCaffrey as well. Jordan McGee, linebacker, Dominique Hampton, safety, and Javonte Jean Baptist, edge rusher. Those guys are just gonna bury just for more depth. I don't think they're getting any playing time on this team. You have Dante Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong for edge rushers. Jordan McGee. So Jordan McGee is a good pickup because you did add Bobby Wagner to your team as a middle linebacker. So he's going to be a good influence, and he's going to teach him how to be a pro and how to read offenses. So that's a good solid pickup as well. You build for the future because Bobby's older, but Jordan McGee can also learn from Bobby Wagner. So they built for the future. The only question mark I really have, but it's really not a question mark because I do like this young man a lot, is Jason Newton. I like him a lot. And then him with Allen together is going to be phenomenal together. But the main reason I graded them an A- because Jaden Daniels, he's a phenomenal quarterback. Now let's dive in to the coaches, which is questionable. Dan Quinn, I question who you brought in a little bit, not offensive coordinator, but your quarterback coach. I question that. And here's why. So the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders, Cliff Kingsbury. He was a head coach for the Arizona Cardinals for 4 years, from 2019 to about 2022. 4 years. His best year was 11-6 in 2021. Kyler Murray. Let's see. I hope I have this right. In 2000, oh man, I my notes are a little bit off here. I apologize. I was at work doing all this research. But I'm pretty sure in 2014. No, geez. 2019. Okay, well, anyway, Kyler Murray's best year was about 4,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 15 INTs. I have a stat written here. I just didn't write it down exactly, but Kyler Murray the year before that had 3,700 yards, 24 TDs, and 10 INTs. All right, we're back. I don't know when it froze. Again, I apologize for that. But like I was saying, Cliff Kingsbury was the head coach for the Arizona from about 2019 to about 2022 for 4 years. His best year was in 2021, went 11-6. Kyler Murray did 3,700 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 10 INTs. Now, obviously, Cliff coached Patrick Mahomes down in Texas. And what Mahomes did there was about 4,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. In 2016, before he entered the NFL, he had 5K yards, 41 touchdowns, 10 INTs. So Cliff knows how to use quarterbacks. And being an offensive coordinator, I think is going to help him out more than being a head coach. So that I really do like for Jaden Daniels. Now, I really don't like Trevita Pritchard as a quarterback coach. He was mainly a quarterback coach in Stanford, and his biggest, I guess, I don't know if he was just a quarterback coach or if he's an offensive coordinator. And there was 8 players that got drafted from him, and only one quarterback, and that was Davis Mills. And he was a third-round pick from this is this is Houston. I think Davis Mills transferred, but that I kind of question. I don't know how good Trevita Pritchard is gonna be for Jaden Daniels. I mean, your best quarterback was Davis Mills, and that guy. No offense, but he's not good. He is not good. Um, but yeah, I question that from Dan Quinn or Cliff, whoever brought him in. I think he could have went with somebody better, in my opinion. But overall, I really, really love how the Commanders drafted. They drafted for now and the future. And all these picks actually make sense to me, in my opinion. That's why I give them A minus. Like I said, they got deducted some points because Jazon Newton is going to be a backup to Payne and Allen. But overall, I think this is a really solid draft. I mean, if they didn't have Payne and they drafted Jazon Newton, this is probably an A plus for me. I just question. I don't question the draft. I question the coaches that they have to improve Jaden Daniels. But overall, I really like this draft. But now I gotta make sure I'm not frozen. I'm not frozen. I'm good. Now, last but not least, I have the Philadelphia Eagles at A. I graded them at A. I have them winning the AFC East Draft, which is really good because they're already playoff contenders. So I think this really helps them out. This team needed a secondary really bad. I gotta look at my camera, and then I gotta look at my notes, and then I gotta look at the computer. I'm looking at everything, so that's why my eyes look like woo. But yeah, the first pick, Quinyon Mitchell. Love him as a cornerback. He turns his head around, which means no pass interferences. Cooper DeJean, also, he's a playmaker. Reminds me a little bit of Marcus Peters. Maybe not as aggressive. Maybe he won't bite on the double moves, but he's a playmaker. Jalix Hunt, just to add to that defensive line. Will Shepley, he's just a one-cut zone scheme style. I don't know what kind of style the offensive line runs for the Philadelphia Eagles, but if they run a zone scheme, I like it to help out Saquon Barkley, good backup. And who's the Eagles actually backup? Kenneth Gainwell and Will Shipley, they're going to compete. That's a good, healthy competition as well. Where are my notes at? Angus Smith. You have A.J. Brown, Devontae Parker, Devontae Smith, Paris Campbell, and then Anesis Smith, I think is how you pronounce his name. So he's buried in the depth chart, but he's mainly a special team player, which helps improve your team immediately. Why? Because it helps flip the field on a punt or kick return. So that I really do like, and he's pretty much ready to play now. Jeremiah Trotter, he's going to learn a lot from Nakobe Dean and Devin White. Nakobe Dean was hurt, so this adds depth to your team. He's a downhill linebacker as well. And he can play zone, but on play actions, I question if he can stay disciplined and play his assignment or if he's going to really bite on the run. Offensive lineman, Trevor Keegan, Johnny Wilson. He's a one-on-one battle receiver, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right. And then Dylan McMahon. Yeah, just really solid. I really love that how they built for now and the future, which is why I gave them an A. Borderline at A plus. I just question their edge rusher. You probably could have drafted, looking at their team. I mean, it's really hard to say because you ended up getting Bryce Huff in free agency. He was an excellent pass rusher, and to me, you're just kind of bearing. Where's his name at? Hunt in the depth chart. Like, I don't think there was really no need to draft him, which is why I didn't give him an A+. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what they need. Yeah, this team's kind of stagnant. I mean, they're just like a player or two away, from changing how they perform on the football field. But I really didn't like Jalen Sun. That's why I didn't give the Eagles an A+. I think this defensive line is already really good. Maybe go another linebacker to back up Nakobe Dean or Devin White. Maybe Nolan Smith. This is a 3-4 defense. I mean, they could be a 4-3 defense as well, honestly. Like, this team is loaded. You have Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, let's get to it. For these cornerbacks, I did some research on this as well. The defensive coordinator is Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio is known to make the defenses easier for his players, so that I'm looking forward to for the entire defense. But he brings his DB coach from the Bears. They were together for 2 years, 2017 season and the 2018 season. To the 2017, their pass defense was ranked 7th. And the following year, and they were 5-11 in 2017. So you can argue that teams were just running the ball on them, and that's why they had good pass defense. But I'm going to tell you this right now. 2018, they went 12-4. They stayed 7th best. That means they were winning games, and people were throwing the ball on them. So that I really do like for both of these corners. They're going to make it easy on them, along with Darius Slay as well. So I think this defense is going to really improve and excel under Vic Fangio and under Roy Anderson. Roy Anderson is going to really teach both these young men how to become a really good, solid cornerbacks. Darius Slay is going to teach them how to be a pro. And you can just learn a lot from Darius Slay as well. I guess with Hunter, you could have drafted a free safety. You have Reed Blankenship. You could have possibly drafted a free safety to compete there. That might be one of the weakest points on this team right now, other than like the rookie cornerbacks. But I think these rookie cornerbacks are gonna be really good, and they're gonna really excel under this defense. I'm still not frozen. That's sweet. All right, as soon as I said it's not frozen, my computer froze. I need to save up to buy a new computer, but yeah, that was a lot of information that I had to look up. I was doing a lot of, like, most of the time while I was at work. I was actually looking up all this information for you guys, which I thought was pretty interesting. So that's pretty much it for it. To summarize everything, I have the Eagles winning the NFC East Draft. Second comes the Washington Commanders at an A-. Giants come in third at a B+. The Dallas Cowboys come in last at a B-. Now, if you guys disagree, I'm fine with that also. Let me know what you guys would have graded them. But this is my opinion. Now, obviously, I could be 100% wrong, and the Cowboys could have the best draft in this NFC East. But that's all to be told in the near future. So, looking forward to seeing how these players develop. And yeah, I think that's going to conclude this video. A lot of information. I apologize for my computer freezing and my camera freezing as well, as it's connected to my computer. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. A lot of information. Please like and subscribe. It'll really help the channel, and I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Peace. Have a good day.